Wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and selamat tengah hari, selamat petang. Terlebih dahulu, saya Datuk Megat Fairuz Junadi bin Tan Sri Megat Junid daripada Pertubuhan Kebangsaan Agensi Perkhidmatan Swasta Malaysia yang lebih dikenali sebagai PAPSMA. Ingin mengucapkan merafak sembah dan setinggi-tinggi ucapan tahniah ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Seri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong yang ke-16 Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Al-Musta'in Billah. Di hari keputeraan tuanku, semoga Allah melanjutkan usia tuanku, daulat tuanku. Saya pada hari ini terpanggil untuk mengadakan press conference kita pada hari ini untuk membuat rayuan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri kita Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri di atas permasalahan yang kita hadapi dalam pemilihan agensi daripada pengrekrutan pekerja-pekerja asing Bangladesh ke Malaysia. Ini beliau Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri adalah merupakan satu mempunyai yang berwawasan, terutama apabila 3 minggu lepas dia mengumumkan penghapusan AP makanan. Itu merupakan satu langkah yang begitu bold, begitu courageous, begitu berani untuk menangani permasalahan inflasi yang menghantui rakyat Malaysia pada ketika ini. Jadi di atas perwatakan yang berwibawa begini, saya rasakan beliau mempunyai perwatakan yang di mana kita boleh mengharap ihsan dan pemahaman daripada pucuk kepimpinan yang sebegini. Jadi di sini kami melakukan PC untuk merayu kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri selaku Perdana Menteri dan akan yang mengetuai Kabinet Malaysia, Kerajaan Malaysia, untuk memahami permasalahan kita. So dari ini saya akan terus melalui PC saya melalui written dalam bahasa Inggeris. First of all, PAPSMA applauds the visit of the Minister of Human Resources Malaysia Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri M. Saravanan to Bangladesh on the 2nd of June 2022. During this visit, several matters on the extension of the government-to-government MOU were discussed, and the first meeting of the Joint Working Group was held in Dhaka by the two countries, specifically to address the issue that has hampered the entry of Bangladeshi workers into Malaysia. Although the MOU G2G was signed in December 2021, this is the first time a meeting or a face-to-face meeting has been held with both counterparts, Minister of Expatriate Welfare and Social Affairs of Bangladesh. As informed at the end of last year by the Minister of the Ministry of Home Affairs, KDN, as many as 1.2 million foreign workers have returned to their respective countries, and now after the recalibration program and further ongoing legalization program till June 2022, about 1.5 million foreign workers have already returned to their respective countries. We will just want to inform the public that whenever the government try to say that they are bringing in 500,000 workers to Malaysia within 1 or 2 years, I mean, the public there will be an outcry from the public as if we are not caring towards our own. But we have to understand more than 2 million foreign workers have have left the country, especially with the pandemic era from 2019 until 2021. So most of our local industry are very affected with the shortage, acute shortage of labor. So we as a licensee, we have done our local placement program. We tried, all our members, more than nearly few hundred of our members have gone to Sabah, Sarawak, Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah to bring all our local workers to be involved in our industries to not to the satisfying effect due to a certain circumstances. So this is just to explain that we don't want a public outcry. So as if we don't create this demand. The demand is there by the industry. So based on this figure, the shortage of manpower in the country can be considered to exceed more than 2 million foreign workers in the main sector that are less popular with local workers, especially in the plantation, manufacturing, services, construction, agriculture, and 3D sectors. 3D is dangerous, difficult, and dirty industry. With the current rapid economic growth after the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia needs a drastic shift to be on par with neighboring countries, especially Indonesia, which has commodities similar to our country and is now Malaysia's main competitor in the Southeast Asia region. The most affected economic sector is the plantation sector, where according to the statement of MPOA, Malaysian Palm Oil Association, in February 2022, there is as much as 1 billion ringgit is lost every day in our country due to palm oil fruits not harvested on time due to lack of foreign workers who have returned to their respective country over the past 3 years. Just imagine, this. I was asking to Dr. Sugu, this number is actually mind-boggling, 1 billion. But then when you come to think about it, because this is the statistics somewhere in this year, with all the inflation and everything, the price of palm oil is, instead of 2,008 to 3,000 ringgit, when it went up to 7,000 now. Just imagine where you time all the losses that we don't harvest the fruit. It makes sense about 1 billion. So in other words, it's 360 billion at 20% profit margin. That is about 70 billion. 30%, about 100 billion.
Yeah, close to.
And the tax of 29%, the government is losing 29 billion potential tax from our own local industry due to shortage of workers. Even some of the industry, they outsource it. They are so desperate, they outsource the thing. People just go and harvest the fruits from the palm oil trees. Whatever the balance, the loose fruits, is a token for the whoever willing to do the harvesting. Just imagine how dire, in need, desperate for our. But it's always just like I said to you, tax potential 29 billion lost to the government is something that we have to really consider this. This has caused Malaysia rank in the international exporters of palm oil to foreign countries to fall drastically, which in return cost the country billions of ringgit of loss. As a result, similarly, many Bumiputra smallholders have suffered huge losses due to the lack of suitable workers to carry out harvesting and collection of oil palm fruits in their small respective plantation. Other sectors also suffered significant losses due to the shortage of manpower, especially those industry which is not of interest to the local workers in Malaysia. PAPSMA seeks the cooperation of the Cabinet Committee of Foreign Workers, who are expected to meet soon, to approve the entry of foreign workers from Bangladesh through the policies laid down by the Malaysian government, where the opportunities to bring in these workers should include all members of BIRA, which is Bangladesh Association of International Recruiting Agents, and not merely just a few members, as what some have been rumored in our countries. PAPSMA will continuously oppose any kind of syndication or special privilege recruiting agencies to be involved in our industry of foreign recruitment, which can mar our industry and later affect us and our members who have invested largely and are legally registered and licensed by the Human Resources Ministry. We want a fair, decent, and ethical form of recruitment based on international requirements and standards. Bear in mind, we are under the observation of ILO. Whatever we do, international level organization is looking at us. So we have to be careful on this matter. PAPSMA being an association for only employment agency with C licenses, who has many members who are experts and professionals with plenty of experience in recruiting Bangladeshi workers to Malaysia, would like to request the government not to delay the entry process of Bangladeshi workers anymore, as they are now ready with the skills, work experience, adaptive skills to meet the existing vacancies in our countries as soon as possible. Therefore, instead of choosing 25 or 250 employment agencies from Bangladesh, as we believe this will delay the process of admission of workers from the country who have already expressed their desire to overcome their internal problems with the decision of their country's Supreme Court order under the Competition Act 2012 on limited selection of agency brought by a few legal employment agencies in their country. This has led Bangladesh to be bound by the court decision not to limit the number of employment agencies that can bring workers into any country based on the criteria laid down. Because we have a copy of the Supreme Court order judgment, where actually it tied the hand. So Bangladesh, so in other words, they can't fulfill our request to limit to 25. So in other words, we don't. It's impossible for them to limit the because it is a court judgment. PAPSMA does not want Malaysia to return to the era of 2015 to 2017, where only 10 Bangladeshi employment agencies were selected, which caused many issues and problems with complication till the Malaysian government banned the entry of Bangladeshi workers into the country in 2017. Among the things identified here are: A. Bangladeshi workers were charged a high cost of entry into Malaysia up to 20,000 ringgit, even though the government and workers were initially told that the cost was cheap and low. This is way back in 2015, 16, 17. The Bangladeshi agency involved have reaped such high profits, and when the migrant workers arrived in Malaysia, they absconded from the legitimate employer as they could not afford to pay the debts incurred by them from their country to work in Malaysia. This has resulted in many employers paying the levy costs and other obligatory expenses and finally suffer huge losses as a result of decisions made by the Malaysian government at the time. In other words, can I explain a bit on this? When you limit the numbers to 10 or 25, even at 250, but the 250 is pointed by the 25. The problem here is price fixing. You go to the agency A, B, C, D, E, F. The whole 25 fix the price at 19 and 20,000. Why I say 19 and 20,000? Because Simon the Bee Plantation have to pay 86 million. Because you got to remember the repercussion on our whatever we do now. It will come back later, 2 years later, because ILO will compile all the records, all the complaints, and they do the audit. That's why we from tier 2 drop to tier 3. Tier 3 is you are under observation. If we drop below tier 3, even Petronas, I doubt, I stand to be corrected, can't even sell their oil to international to Japan, because most of our oils we have to send to, because Sam the Bee Plantation can send their palm oil to America. Top Glove, 146 million they have to, because they calculated based on the 19,000 to 20,000 collected. But this is all facts. I mean, you try to hide within 2 years. The ILO, with all the mechanism that they have no problem of detecting. You just don't ask where the money is being deposited to. For example, there's a WikiLeaks job way back in the early 20th century. So, when you fix the price, this is the problem. Why we want to open to everybody? Because if somebody just an agency who have secured a job order, try to sell the job order that in their hand at 18,000, where some people tend to say that it can be done in 7,000. It's back to the benefit to the workers, and for the employer, very less chance for the workers to run away. When you charge them 19,000, 20,000, where are you going to get the money to pay back? This is deemed as a forced labor in the 21st century. You know. So something that we have to reckon with. We have to be compassionate. You know, I really hope that this tier 3, tier 4 is something for us to reckon with. I mean, you have any countries under tier 4? I think North Korea lah. You can't export your thing anywhere, especially to Europe, to America, which is bad, very, very bad. So I hope you all understand why we must make it a free market. We had a 2010 Anti-Competition Act. Bangladesh at 2012. America have Sherman Act in 1895. 1895 Sherman Act. Even the great giant Bell Company, only one company, the whole US. 1895 they have to break to AT&T because it's anti-competition. So who got the benefit at the end? It's the American people. They have a cheaper telecommunication fees. So B, this selected agency collect money from these poor migrant workers to meet the needs of certain dignitaries for the purpose of lobbying in the business of importing human beings. Such a thing could damage Malaysia, which is now ranked on the 3rd tier in the ILO international category of forced labor migrants, which could affect the country's identity and image in the eyes of the world. It doesn't stop there. If you're below than 3, it doesn't stop there. We can't export internationally. Yeah. Many GLCs and industry in Malaysia have already suffered losses, protests from foreign countries, and been fined millions of ringgits for being found guilty of forced labor, non-ethical recruitment, violating ESG code of conduct, and collection of money from foreign workers in their country of origin before entering Malaysia. D. The agencies involved in the past 2015 era are now seem to be in the same list of categories of agencies that are expected to be selected by Malaysia for the purpose of recruiting Bangladeshi workers to Malaysia. So, PAPSMA does not understand why only Bangladesh needs special agencies for the purpose of their employment compared to all other source countries, even though Bangladesh was chosen to be in the category of source country, negara sumber, in Malaysia over the past few years. PAPSMA condemns illegal agents who are now roaming in Malaysia, looking for opportunities to deceive employers and workers to fulfill the desire to profit from poor workers who do not have the ability to pay high recruitment costs and subsequently ending up having to borrow money in their country to work in Malaysia. So this one is also very serious, because when we came back from Dhaka last 2 weeks ago, we were told about, since the workers is not open, there are 300 visas every day is being issued. So when I was at the airport, yeah, we were looking to whoever got the. I mean, I can see most of them are the agents. Huh? Yeah. We can see. So they come down here. Let the Malaysian licensee do the work. I'm speaking on behalf of our licensee. We are the one who we are not the middleman. We are not orang tengah. We are the facilitator. Let us have our own local. We don't force anybody to use our services.
Yeah.
But if our services is not important, the Human Resources Department will not issue. And we don't come, we come with 250,000 deposit. So we have at any risk, at any time, we will lose our deposit. So in other words,
you get pantau.
the government can pantau us. They can overlook us, and then we actually we are more than well. We want the government to really put a surveillance on us. Both government. It can be Bangladesh, it can be Indonesia, it can be. That's why, for example, Philippine embassy is recognized as a licensee to get in Indonesia,
yeah,
in order to bring, because if anything happen, Majikan can see a lot of abuse by the Majikan. They have nobody to hold on. So here we are putting our neck on the block. So please give us the enough ample opportunities to show on our commitment to address our shortage of human workers, foreign workers. So we really hope that the government can also look at the foreign agent coming down and disturbing our livelihood here.
Yeah.
PAPSMA calls on the government to expedite the entry process without delay in order to fulfill the wishes and the desires of many industries, especially the plantation agencies and those SME employers who are currently facing acute shortage of workers, thus harming the country's income and economy. Thank you very much. I hope you guys okay with my